Today on Startup Report is the Regional Sales Manager for EConcrete, John Luetzow. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Joe. Great to be with you today.
Well, before we get started, my condolences. You had the loss of one of your co-founders, Dr. Shimrit Perkel-Finkel. She died tragically in Israel in a bike or scooter accident back in March, and I know that must have been a huge hit for the company.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We all do as a close-knit family. But Shimrit had instilled in us a great mission, vision, value statement, and lived and breathed it every day. And it became part of our being. And we certainly mourned her loss, but now it just overcharged our batteries to get out there and push that mission forward.
Sure, and that has seen some of the recent successes you've had, winning some different awards and whatnot. But before we get into that, for those who may not be familiar with EConcrete, just give us a brief overview of the company.
Sure. EConcrete was actually created by Shimrit and our co-founder, Dr. Ido Sella, both PhDs in biology, ocean environment, ecosystems, and the like. They actually formulated an admixture that crystallizes concrete in such a way that it makes it both ecologically and biologically friendly. They started into the waters in the mainly Mediterranean back in 2012-13, and was actually invited into the New York Staten Island project back in 2014, going into 2015. Staten Island, New York. It's a project funded by actually the Obama administration after Hurricane Sandy, and thus got us the first jump across the oceans to open the company actual U.S. base in New York City because of the project size and the fact that we were going to be involved with that. Since then, we've evolved from 2017 into 18, coming into the Tampa St. Pete market through Fiba, the Florida Israel Business Accelerator. And I jumped on board with them in 2018. But our real jumpstart was the Fiba program. Andrew Rella, who is our head of worldwide engineering, had got us, had gone through that, and really it gave us a good foundation to really start to grow and work with a lot of city, state, county, municipalities to actually get written into ordinance and or code. And since then, we've spread out multiple projects, not only in the U.S., including one we just finished in San Diego. Had me out in California for last year, but anyways, I'm back. I'm Florida-based, St. Pete-based. Our U.S. inventory is all based in St. Pete, the warehouse, and we feed it out of there.
That's great, and it is the Catalyst partnership with Fiba that brought us together today. So just a little more overview on the product. Basically, concrete that has been used in and around the oceans or in water historically has been kind of a death zone. There's nothing really grows on it, in it, or around it. And with this, with what EConcrete has made, it's a mix of the shape of the concrete, giving some sort of crevices and things for life to take hold in and hide in, but also the mixture and both internally and in the surface area that makes it more conducive for things like coral and oysters and general sea life to be okay living in and around.
Correct. Yes, exactly. You put it well. You want a job? No, that was perfect, Joe. It really, that's what, again, Shimrit and Ido, saw miles and miles of, and we still see miles and miles of, concrete, gray concrete, infrastructure that's been called for by engineers because the coastal needs the hardening, but yet you see no life, or if anything, you see invasive species that you don't really want. That's going to end up destroying the concrete versus us being one of the few companies that have concrete in our name, but we don't actually sell concrete. We sell the technology and what goes into the concrete, thus crystallize it in such a way that the CO2 is captured. There is no leaching that normally the chemicals in normal Portland leach, and it becomes very ecologically and biologically friendly. The project in San Diego, we actually have life after 2.5 going on 3 months. We also already have initial biology, and we found that with many other projects, including multiple in Florida, where we literally did pilot programs with the concrete with our admixture, the macro design, and the texture versus typical just Portland, and it's outstanding, the growth versus barren field.
And the sea life actually rewards you by protecting the concrete and making
Correct.
it stronger.
Yep.
So it's a nice symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. As they build up on it, we call it bioprotection. It actually encases, and even we have Reisner and multiple studies that show that the bioprotection and the strength actually increases, which right out of the chute, all of our product, our admixture, it actually meets or exceeds all coastal standards, which are very stringent. We typically see as much as a 10% increase in strength, PSI strength. So we're one of the few that provide or check all the boxes when it comes to eco nature, biological nature, and also structural.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the growth trajectory for the companies. Since you've launched, you were in the 2018 cohort with Fiba, I believe.
Yep, exactly.
And since then, I think you said you're around 30 employees now, or 30 on the team. What's sort of what's growth look like over the next couple of years?
Growth looks absolutely fantastic. We had predicted X amount of tons this year in actually creating the admix. We've exceeded that twice already. We are structured 100% virtual other than Tel Aviv. So we really did not slow down at all during the virus because we were already virtual to begin with. So many of our meetings, before, during, and now, somewhat after, have continued to be virtual. But we really are on an unexpected growth pattern that though unexpected, we're running with it. But as I said, this year the Port of San Diego, that project, our biggest U.S. project, is the New York City Staten Island. That actually began casting about 3 weeks ago, and will continue. Just the casting period of that is a 6-month proposition because of the thousands of units. And we've achieved the recognition in many parts of the world and even the U.S. We literally got a call about a month and a half ago that said, your admixture has been written into the spec on this seawall project. How exactly does that work? And when can we get it? And our head of engineering called me and said, who are these people? And I said, I have no clue. So it's beyond the entry point now to where we have gotten with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, with many city, local, state governments. We've actually been written into code, so it's pretty much a given that either ECOncrete or in a government where it can't be single sourced, like kind quality is written into it. And though there are some others out there, we actually invite competition. It makes it easier for the government work because we are single source is an issue, but we're the only ones that have the years and years of documented first, second, third party studies and testing. So we're really moving.
That's great. And just so I understand how the it works, when you say it's an additive, so you say you have the warehouses here in St. Petersburg, and that's an additive that you ship up to the folks that are making the concrete. And then how do you interact with the shaping of it as well? Is that part of the partnership with them, that you give them tools to or know-how on how to shape the blocks?
Yes, exactly. Our model is we use local talent, local general contractors, local concrete companies. We really don't care what the what the mix design looks like of the concrete. Once it's given to us, we analyze it. We'll come up with the percentage or the pounds of admixture, which is a powder. Call it the salt and pepper. Then that along with the molds are shipped to. Let me use Staten Island as an example. Port of San Francisco of San Diego was the same way. We shipped in enough admix, tons of it, plus the molds to create, in the case of Staten Island, the first product that we're producing up there is our tide pool. And then we flew in for that one, since worldwide travel is back. We flew in our concrete expert that flew into the precast company and literally did a week and a half training with their personnel. The admix is added in powder form directly to the truck in this situation, and which we can go to the truck. We can go to a large concrete facility with a silo if need be. We can go as low as a project we're doing down in Fort Lauderdale, where it's in 15-pound sacks, and we're creating it right on the pier. So it's now the mold is poured, releasing agents that are biofriendly, and it's repeat.
That's great. So let's finish up by talking about the Fiba, the relationship with Fiba. It's a Florida Israel Business Accelerator. Can you talk about how that was transformative for ECOncrete?
It really, like I said, I wasn't the initial student. That was Andrew, but it having been in business development for a lot of years, the foundation that I walked into in towards the end of 18 was phenomenal, both local, statewide, and national context that they had already put us in, not only with private industry, engineering, architectural firms, but the doors that were open for, again, city, local, state government, in Florida, but beyond, really gave us a rock solid foundation, pun intended, and we really were able to run with it, that continued still continues to this day, but now it's tapered a little bit just because, again, the success of the initial, but we had almost daily conversation for quite a few months, weekly calls, not only with myself, but looping in Israel, New York and the like. So it was really, really fantastic and nicely highlighted going into year 2 with their the cohort they did in would have been 19. So they put us up on stage, so it was great.
That's great. And that mirrors everything else I've heard about the program as well.
Yeah, fantastic program.
John Luetzow, appreciate you stopping by to get us up to speed with EConcrete, and excited to have you as the local connection here. And it's a great product and a great idea. It seems like win all the way around. So wish you the best of success with that.
Appreciate that, Joe, and appreciate your hospitality. Been a great chat.